Oh, it's a lot of people.
Touch on the 101.
Show us the crowd,
Started.
Paul.
Yeah.
Show us the
Yes.
crowd.
The crowd, they're just coming now.
Show us the crowd, Paul.
There's people
Show us the crowd.
from Jersey, Austin,
On Zoom.
the nearby asylum, these two right here. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta get him back by 2. Electroshock. Yeah, we're waiting for some folks to come. How's everyone doing, eh? You good? All? Yes?
Good.
Good.
Good. What's needing a nice, relaxing bike ride. And
Mentioned, yeah.
working too much. How are you, Paul?
You hit one person. That was all that was necessary. That was good. My career was defeated by self. I wouldn't have brought it up. I would have been a circuit speaker. Yeah, I'd be at all those old timers meetings. How to open my mouth, eh? About the exact nature of the wrong. Hey, Lola, come chill out. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone here, if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here and you've been here a while, when are you leaving? And if you have any questions, just ask them now if you want. Yeah. And if not, the premise here we're speaking of is an idea. Really, it's an idea with an invitation. And it's given the name non-duality, so not two. So obviously, the two-ness, there isn't like a dualistic world. It's in the seeing, yes? Is how we look at things. We look at whatever dualistically. Yeah. So we're projecting a dualism. And then usually, just like in recovery, the person who needs the recovery the most is the last one to find out. So by looking at the duality that's projected, it may lead to where it's being projected from. Yes. And so you don't really need to say not to the duality that is being projected, but it's a not to let's call it the projector. Yes. Yeah. So there is not a world that's black and white and this and that. We're reading, well, there's a projection and then we're perceiving it. If you've ever been introduced to the Course in Miracles, they have some pretty grand statements. And one of them is the big M mind projects and then we perceive. Yeah. So what's projected is not real, but we perceive what's being projected as real. Yeah. And this goes into the requirement or the only requirement in a way that Ramana Maharshi puts out is basically just seeing the unreal from the real. That's all. Yeah. And then when you start entertaining that, you'll see that you've been looking for the real from the unreal. That's the point. They don't, hey, Rosalind, they don't plainly describe it. It's like a boomerang shot. Yeah. It's sort of like in pool, the 8-ball is behind another ball. You hit a cushion to hit the 8-ball. Yeah. So non-duality isn't saying it's not saying all there is absoluteness. It's describing something that we're very familiar with and then negating it. Yes. And this, I feel, works because that which is taken to be real is the unreal. Yeah. Yeah. You haven't taken it to be real. The system itself that is unreal takes itself to be real. The system is doing it. You're not doing it. When the idea of you, when you become cognizant of something, it's already been put in place. Yeah. So if you notice, if you watch the head, you see the head's never really building a self or moving towards becoming a self. It says you already are one. So it implies there's a historical fact that there's only a very few ways of maybe getting out of it. Yeah. Yeah. So it creates a magical in, and then there's the drive to get out. And the drive to get out don't work because you're not in. It's just that simple. Yeah. So when we come to in the morning, we don't come to before the body. We come to as the body. When you wake up in the morning, there's sometimes a short, very short period that you're not anything, really. There's just onness. And then you wake up, which is the body called Paul. Yeah. So this Paul with the name of you is contained by the system. It's not outside of the system. The you of the system isn't going to suddenly be before the system and realize it has nothing to do with the system. It can't escape. It only appears in the system. It doesn't appear out of it. Yeah. So when you try to get out of Paul, Paul's always seemingly there. Yeah. So basically, you want to get out of Paul, and then it's Paul is trying to get out of something. It gets turned around, and then the wanting to get out is used to reinforce the in of Paul. Yeah. So all this stuff becomes obvious when you hear the invitation of non-duality. I don't think the head that's landscaped here is any different than the heads that are landscaped there. You're just hearing different yodels, like in French or English, but it's the same echoing going on and on and on. Yeah. So if you can recognize what's going on, yeah, usually when you're relieved of it, yeah, not relieved as it, but relieved of it. Yeah. Then you realize it's just like the idea of gravity. People maybe go to school and study gravity and they know pi squared times 5 or everything, and they're very knowledgeable about gravity. But if you just entered an anti-gravity chamber, you would know gravity by its absence, which is the greatest way to know something, is by its absence. So you're going to know self by its absence. And they will see there isn't one. Yeah. There's an implying of it, insinuating of it, remembering of one, but there isn't any. Yeah. So there is not a noun before the verb. The noun actually comes after the verbing. And we were talking about even that would be a great movement. Instead of, if you could find yourself and emphasize the noun that is the king, the me, and see it as a lower position of after the verbing, you would travel a lot lighter. Yeah. As the noun. But the noun being in front of the verb and taking ownership of all that shit, it has really nothing to do with it, is just piling on heaviness constantly. Yeah. Yeah. So the noun's constantly using a verb to try to get out of the noun when there is no noun. Yeah. So they say a beautiful thing in Zen, you can't use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. Yeah. You get it? It's very simple. You are an activity. That's why we use the term action figure. You're a figure that is built out of action, mostly mental action and projection of stuff, but you're an action. Yeah. But you're called a noun. The bondage is the claiming of the verbs, but how the bondage appears is as a noun. Yeah. Because everything that if you were, let's say, moving along with verbing, you wouldn't see them attacking you or anything like that. It would just be a flow. But once you're stopped and you're a noun, now you give direction to all the verbing. Oh, it should be happening to me. It's happening to them. Yes. So the verbs given a huge amount of meaning through the noun lens. Yeah. But if you were just flowing with the verbs, you wouldn't see they're all attacking me and anything. They're just going the way they go, such as you are going the way you go. But the noun immediately stops everything and gives direction to everything. This shouldn't be happening to me. This definitely shouldn't be happening to you. This should be happening to me, on and on. Yes. So you get a huge interpretation just by seemingly stopping in the verb and becoming a noun. Yeah. And then this is all manufactured, and then you wake up as Nicoletta. And basically, Nicoletta is trying to get out of what she's not in and trying to get into what she's not out of. Yeah. Not because she grew in a misunderstanding, she grows in that misunderstanding. That is her pot. That's the miracle grow. That. There is no Nicoletta as Nicoletta, the action figure, before this Nicoletta. Yeah. Nicoletta's never getting out of Nicoletta as Nicoletta. It just doesn't go. It doesn't work. So what happens is beautifully is something stops you in your tracks, and then you see things that are moving differently. And you find the great success of futility, because you are never going to get out of it. You are never going to get it. Yeah. You're never going to get out of what you're not in, and then you're never going to get into what you're not out of. It just can't happen. So it's so beautiful. And then how can you blame that which started at that point? Yeah. It wasn't like you were vast knowledge before, and then you took an intoxicant or something and you turned into this. You started as this. This is what's been taken to be you from the get-go. Yeah. You never saw, well, wait a minute, that you doesn't look like it fits my size. No, you started as a you, talking about the topic of you. Yeah. Isn't that awesome to realize you're not that? You don't have to throw a line and help save it or nothing. Yeah, it's going the way it goes. And instead of looking for you after, you see you're the before. Yeah, you're before you. Yeah, you're not a bigger, better you or a transcendent you. You're before it all. Yeah, and this is what non-duality does. When the head stops, there's a real stop, which is the being still. We have it a lot in recovery called a pause, Pause. You don't sign up for them, they happen. Yeah. They usually in the beginning, they surprise you quite a lot because you're so busily moving, it's a shock to stop. Yeah. Yeah. So that pause is like a free sample of what Ramanites believe was implying a be still. Can't be still. It's like someone holding their breath and they finally, or blinking, they finally, what you're not's going to blink. What you're not's going to gulp. What you're not's going to hiccup. It can't help itself. It's an activity. It's irritable, restless, and discontent, not as a condition, but as a nature. It is. Its desire feeds it in emptiness. Even if it completes the desire, it doesn't. There's an emptiness in the completing of all of its desires. It can't win. So it's agitated, irritable, and restless. Yeah, because it can't look outside of itself for any guidance. It's stuck in a way. Yeah. And yet the stuckness would be really cool, but it believes it can get out, which is the drag, because we know it's stubborn with that pursuit. Like they talk about in AA, what is the major delusion? You know, confronted with all this evidence that you're not managerial quality, you just beg to differ and say, I just need to manage better. It just doesn't get it. Self does not get, it can't get out of self. It doesn't. You better know that. Self cannot get out of self. That's not bad news. That's great news, because then when you seem to get out of self, you realize you're not in self. Yeah. So then let's say the uncommon experience will be a condition now. And when an experience is a condition, all the anxiety of the experiencing changing or ending dismisses. Yeah. You're not rushing for the same experience. You're resting in a condition. Yeah. Be still. There you understand the word serenity and no peace. All this shit happens. Yeah. Yeah. But not for you. It doesn't. You don't cause it. You don't even get the effect. You're that which is affected, really. There's the amount of interest in self gets lessened, not by self. It's not siphoning, the gas tank. It's noticing the gauge is going down. And then it's trying to bring its golden oldies, and you'll never be loved without me. But yes, the big guns come out when it knows it's freaking sinking. The only thing that's kept it from sinking, it's been holding on to us. It would have been washed away a long time ago. It's just been sucking like an octopus with their little suckers. It's just been sucking off of us. This is what keeps it above water, us, interest and attention. So, oh, it's beautiful, really. So be still. And then you're armed with this idea of non-duality, which is, and maybe you don't trust me or anything, who cares? So we'll use Ramana Maharshi, but basically the godfather of non-duality. And he's basically saying the greatest mystery in this whole event here is being ourselves reality, reality wanting to attain reality. Okay? So now you may not believe it, but you do believe Ramana. Any guy who can live his whole life with a diaper on and nothing else and stay in one location, and instead of thinking people woke up, it was peacocks and pigs and shit. They were all enlightened. All his followers were fucked, but the animals were getting it. Yeah. He says, basically, this is what he said. Not me. He says, being ourselves reality. It's not becoming reality or going back to reality, because we obviously definitely left it. Because if this is reality, I want to get out of this fucking reality every day. So, but being ourselves reality would be a present tense state, not manufactured or maintained, but just a condition. That's a conditionless condition. Being ourselves reality. Yes? Okay. He talks to that. Be still. All right. And then I would add, watch. You're still, and then that which can't stay still will show itself. Yeah. And then there'll be the desire to get it or this and that. And you'll see all of these apparatuses that you would call you or extensions of you as not you. Yeah. So the wanting to know drops off. You may never ask another question again concerning this topic. Bam, that's gone. You'll never spend a second looking for what can't be found. That's gone. All these things just drop, never to be picked up again. Yeah. It was basically the interest and attention was their adhesion. They can't stick on us. They can't. They're sticking on us because there's been a manufacturing of a consent. Yeah. For some reason or another, we have gone along with this little play and we've gotten absorbed in it. Yeah. Maybe there's some good writing and good direction. We're absorbed in it. And in that thing, it's like that statement we used to use about the cardboard cameras. When you used to go over Europe or Asia or somewhere, you could buy these cardboard cameras and they had one roll of film in it. So you get like 18 pictures. And then you would bring it to the pharmacy and they throw the box out. There was the camera had no value other than the making of pictures. Yeah, it wasn't put, oh, look, give me your cardboard bar, I'm going to give you a case for it. No, it was just thrown right out. Just take out the film, throw the fucker out. Had a plastic lens. You were lucky if you could see anything. You would just hope and point and hope and then take a picture. Yeah. Yes. So here's this lens, here's this camera. And then there's this huge, beautiful camera's walking. It has a mobile tripod, 360 degree, super high def. And it decides to look through this other camera. Yeah. It's the other camera is not what's seeing, it's what's being looked through. Yeah. The other camera is not the seeing. Yeah. This is not what's seeing. This is like a telescope that's being looked through. Yeah. Yeah. Be clear about this. Yeah? So, okay. So now the bigger camera looks through the smaller camera, and for some reason, it forgets about itself. It forgets it's the large camera with HD and everything. And now it's saddled with these plastic lens. It's grainy, can't see much of it. Yeah, and it has memories of things being a lot better. But the only way it can remember things being a lot better is as the cardboard camera, because the identification sort of locked up the system. Yeah, so it's now identified, losing its sense of real nature and taking its cardboard nature to be the real nature. Wow, can only possibly happen in dreaming, and this is dreaming. Yeah, it is. So suddenly, what does it do? It's working with, it's severely limited of possibilities because it never entertains a possibility it's not the cardboard camera. So what does it do? It says, I got to get a better lens. Yeah, I got to get a better lens to have better pictures. So then it works hard, saves its money, and it buys like a $2,000 Nikon lens. But unfortunately, the plastic lens is the first lens. You're not replacing that lens. You're putting another lens on top, and the plastic lens is going to override the quality of the secondary lens. Yes. Your spiritual path isn't doing what you think it's doing. Yeah. The plastic lens wins out because it's before the other lens. So you have a $4,000 Nikon and it's the same shitty pictures. But of course, you don't want to look like an idiot. So you think, oh, I think they're getting a lot better. But basically, it looks exactly the same and you're down 4,000. And it's now a lot bigger and clumsier. So this is the dilemma. So all these other cardboard cameras are talking to this cardboard camera about, yes, we've gotten a group now and we're really working hard. We're gonna polish our plastic lens like the Zen polishing the mirror till it becomes a reflective thing. Okay, good luck. It's plastic. You can polish it as much as you want. It's not going to change its inability to reflect clearly. Yes, this is its nature. But you're believing it's your nature and you should be able to change it. You can't. Good luck. You can change it a little, but you can't change the fact of the conditioning that it's you. So then suddenly one person, an enlightened camera, comes into the group and doesn't see the cardboard camera. The emphasis of him looking at Jim isn't the cardboard, but the bigger camera, because the bigger camera hasn't gone anywhere. It's functioning, everything. It's just not emphasized. Yeah. So he looks not at the cardboard. He talks to the larger camera. And what does he talk about to the larger camera? About the cardboard camera. Gives it a pretty good description and says, listen, bro, it ain't you. And because it's actually true, that knowing triggers an aha. And then suddenly the larger camera realizes it's the larger camera. And it also realized it was never the cardboard camera. It just got lost in the looking through the cardboard camera. Yeah. Doesn't have to have an operation to separate it from the cardboard camera. It just needs the possibility that it's not you. And so then the large camera moves away, and what does it see? It sees the cardboard camera, gets very clear, and greets it with, I'm not that. That's the activity of non-duality. The activity of non-duality is not a premise. It triggers an activity where you see what you're not from what you are. Yeah? So be still, sit there, watch what cannot be still. And what constantly is searching for is either a new reality or the reality. And obviously, therefore, it cannot be you if the fact that you are reality, anything that you would be calling you that's looking for reality cannot be you, obviously, just logically from another point of view. If you hear the message, being ourselves reality, whatever happens through you that was always called you, that's acting to the contrary of that is not you. Yes, doesn't have to be redone, because in this case, you're before the plastic lens. You can tell the truth about the plastic lens because you're not the plastic lens. Yeah, you're not going to go out and buy another Nikon lens. You already have, you've got a better lens than Nikon. Yes? All of the activity and the ideas that you were seemingly wrestling with were based on this misunderstanding. It's as simple as that. I'm telling you, it's as simple as that. You do not know how many dead fruit are going to fall off the tree of life when you see this. You're not, it's just going to be amazing. Shit's going to be dropping. Shit that you were trying to pull off before and it was so stubborn, shit just starts dropping. You lose interest like sheets of saran wrap. They just fall off your eyes. And then, yeah, it's pretty good. And then finally, you've come to the end of how far the action figure can run with the ball. The farthest the action figure can run with the ball is having an echo that it's not that. Yes? It doesn't matter if the action figure gets it or not, but the echo from what we really are through this cavernous active action figure, that resonation, that intimation does something where this can now travel lighter. Yeah, because this mantle of being the sole vehicle to go back to God or whatever is dropped. It's a lot of undue responsibility is dropped. You're now freed as a verb from the clutches of the noun. Yeah. And especially like in recovery, you will have a true experience of not regretting the past nor shutting the door on it. Because if you're constantly being seen as the doer, there's no way that past is going to be whitewashed. You're going to regret what you did. It's just the way it goes. How can you look at the past and not regret it? Is see it through the lens of not being the doer of it. That's all. Only way it really works in my book. Yeah. You're going to regret, people have pangs of regret after they're 40 years sober and they're sitting in a meeting and then they remember something they did and they have a regret right there. So no matter how far they go, they have an umbilical cord to the past and the mental state's just milking it. Yeah. At any time, it can ruin a whole day by remembering something that you did that you should never have done under the influence. Yeah. Where is the recognition that you're the driven, which means that excludes you from the responsibility of the driver. If you're the driven, you are excluded from the responsibility of the driver. We have supposedly surrendered the idea of being the driver and admitted the fact that we're the driven, I hope. Either that or you have a higher power. And if you're in there, the higher power is in the trunk or, as a sort of like a spare tire if anything doesn't go your way. Yeah. I just don't see it. I don't see how you're going to pacify this, which is completely based on you being the doer. And not only what you did, but all the things that it tells you should have did that you didn't do. Yeah. You'd love to shut the door on that past, but it keeps fucking banging in and keeps entering this moment. Why? Because there's a gaping hole And it's the idea of being the doer of shit that you were driven to do. I've been sharing this for 30 something years in recovery, 34 years to be exact about. Fuck. I mean, how can you not regret something if you were the doer of some heinous shit? You would be, somehow that would be a weird condition that you would not, it would be sociopathic, right? Or a psychopath. You wouldn't regret something that was a heinous act that you did when you were younger. Yeah. I think in a sense, as a community, that moralness is needed. But to be bound by it for 40 fucking years after the date and not realize that you were used as transportation, something had its fucking weird hands on the wheel and was driving you to where you ended up. I don't see it out. To me, it makes perfect sense because I have been the driven thinking it was the driver. For many years, I played both of those roles. Yeah. And the subjective pounding of the driver to the poor driven was just unbearable. You'd want to get loaded for some relief. Yeah. You would. And it made sense. A lot of shit makes sense, but the cause or the origin of it is insane. Yeah. If something took you over, if you're the driven, you're not the driver. There is no self-driving car, as Elon Musk has proven. Yeah. It says self-driving car under supervision. That's not self-driving. Yeah. So driven, we are driven. Something comes up, a feeling of lack. You're driven to go somewhere or do something. Sometimes it's stupid what you're driven to do. And then you want to avoid sharing that with anyone else, and becomes a little secret that grows and grows and grows and grows. Sort of like maybe you have a position in recovery and you've had a couple of drinks the last few months, but you got a lot of credit. You're 28 years sober and you're just, I'm just going to let it slide. I should be able to get away with this. Suddenly, one night, shit hits the fan. Yeah, the genie has taken over. It has more than 3 wishes for you. And there you go. So always thinking we're the driver when we're the driven. And this is why I believe recovery blends completely into the idea, the invitation of non-duality. Because in recovery, we have the idea of self, the small s, as what has defeated us. And in non-duality, there's a great relief because there is no self. So if I've been defeated by something that doesn't exist, maybe there's a possibility of being free from that defeat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's beautiful. It dovetails perfectly into it. So yeah, there's some people here, so I'm going to read our only scripture. Yeah. We're going to make it a chant soon. Yeah. And we're going to get some beads, and we're going to start doing this. It is false to speak of realization. What is there to realize? Sit there. The real is as it is always. Wait a minute. Does the way Paul feel as it is always? No. It feels a lot of different things. Yeah. But the real is as it is always. Well, I guess this ain't the real. It's a simple recognition. Are you demonstrating the qualities that Ramana Maharshi is saying the real demonstrates? The real is as it is always. So it's unchangeable. Are you unchangeable? You must not be that then. I mean, you want to try the new logic? That's the logic. You have a statement from high above. I hold some people, Ramana, in high regard. That means I'm very interested in listening to what he says, or she, or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Follows it up with, hey, you are what you're looking for. Okay. What should I be holding? When's a nice time to be holding that? when my head's busily looking for it. Yeah. So that I can sort of disavow my allegiance to that which is looking for that which cannot be looked for. Yes. This is non-duality. You're something, and then there's a something else. You're now suddenly saying, I'm not that. Finally. Yeah. So I am not this duality. I am not the observed, nor am I the observer of the observed. Yeah. So I'm going to push off from this ship. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm pushing off from this ship. So Ramana says a simple quality of being ourselves reality is be still. That's what he'd say. He'd say, what? People were doing all this shit. He said 2 letters, 2 words, be still. Okay. So the head can pull it off for maybe a second or 2, maybe even 30 seconds, but probably not that long. Okay. So you'll be still. Your fingers start moving, looking around. I hope they have the better dessert today at lunch. So you see it. And all of that activity that is being noticed is assumed to be something of you. Yeah. You're either the origin of it, or somehow it's like a runaway appendage of you, but it's you. And now you're going to greet that as not you, not as a practice, as just an observation. Yeah. And then where do you go back to? Be still. Yeah. Something moves, it gets shot. Be still, you don't get shot. Something else that's not real goes, gets shot by non-duality. Another fucking rabbit hits the dirt, hits the dust. You're still sitting still. All right. I really want to be there to get it. You get shot. I think I had it once, but I lost it by doing something. That's shot. So all of the false flags get shot from the fact that being ourselves reality, the real is as it is always. So he says beautifully here, how to realize it. What a beautiful gift, okay, from a great master. How to realize it. Get your notebooks out. Yeah, gird your loins. It's going to be a lot of sacrifice, I bet you. Martyrdom even, maybe. Yeah. Okay. All that is required is this. All of that is required is this. Or everyone should really be listening. All that is required is this. What? It's going to be a lot. Like they say in AA, go to any lengths. Everyone expect 80 miles. It could be nothing when it says go to any lengths. It's proven to me going no lengths at all usually. So here, how to realize it. All that is required is this, Tommy. This is it. Amelia, Rosalind. All that is required is this. We have realized the unreal. Right now, this second, you have realized the unreal. It doesn't say you have to realize the unreal and turn it into a quantified 200 tons of realizing the unreal. No, a momentary recognition of realizing the unreal, because you can't realize the real because you are real. You can realize the unreal. That is the realization. The realization here is not of your own nature, it's of the foreign nature. That is the realization. So you have now realized the unreal. Does he say how many times? No. 1. Yeah. One free sample, now you recognize it more and more. Yeah. So if you have difficulty, go to Huang Po, great Zen master. Whatever can be perceived, yeah, cannot be that which is perceiving. You've just realized the unreal. That was being called real all day. Now, do you want to try to change that which is calling it real? No, because that's the system. The system calls what it made real to support and reinforce the system. Move on. It's like the sirens of Ulysses. Ulysses didn't look back and he was freed from the island. The sirens were singing the song. Ulysses didn't take it personally, kept going. Exactly. Yeah. Be still. So here we have realized the unreal. What was happening by the system is it is regarding as the real the unreal. So to the system that's looking at as this action figure, it regards the unreal as the real. You want to work hard and try to change that? I would just move on. What can a failed system show you? A failed system that sees the unreal as real, I would say, is a fucking failed system. If you're in the business of being ourselves reality, I would imagine a system that sees the unreal to be real is a failed system. What can it show you? It's a failed system. Why do you greet the failed system? I'm not that. Yeah. Don't say it. You have a sense of it. Yeah. What gets revealed in recovery? This higher power is going to constantly reveal to us, mostly about what we're not. That's what it reveals. It reveals I'm not that. Yeah. And now, instead of being the one that I beg to differ, you're part of the choir. You're singing along with it. I'm not that. And you're traveling lighter in spite of self and in spite of action figure. Yeah. There you go. So it says here, we have to give up the attitude. That is all that is required. I would say just give up the thing that says it has that attitude. That to me is easier. Because I've tried to give up attitudes as the one who has attitudes. It doesn't work well. It just picks up another attitude. I just rather lose interest in the one who thinks has all the attitudes. I think it's cleaner, easier. Yeah. It's like more like it's like a vacuum suck. It sucks out what you're not out of the space. Yeah. Yeah. But I've seen, haven't you, when you believe you're the one that's has the bad attitude and you try to give up the bad attitude. It's just it's the same bad attitude, with pressed pants, cleaned it up a little. It doesn't work, does it? Never has. I don't think it will. But if you take another step back, not into it, but out of it, and see, I'm not that which holds these attitudes, fantastic. And the death of self is in the forgetting of it, really, as St. Francis says. You want to deal the death blow to self, it's forgetting. You lose interest in it. That drives it crazy. When it's irrelevant, which it is, it flips out. It does. It really gets fucking touchy then. Yeah. But now you can be still because it's your nature to an incredible greater length than where you thought when you were trying to be still as this. As what you are, you can be still. And basically, you'll realize that this power is never going to give you more than it can handle. It will look a lot like more than you can handle, but that it can handle. Yes? Yeah. To be still isn't far away. There's no requirements necessary. You don't need a key to open it. It's readily available. What caused it not to seem to be that way is an activity of what we're not, really. Yeah, yeah. What we're not is making itself the obstacle to what we are. Course in Miracles says it's the act of denial of what you are. Yeah. Is this firm in faith in being this something else your head has made to be yourself? What is that? Yeah. That's the movement of duality. I'm totally interested in this me that the head has made to be myself. And while I'm doing that, it's the act of denial of what I am. That's the duality. Yeah. You're just not getting away with, I'm just completely firm in faith in this something else. No, it has another reaction, which is it's used to be the act of denial of what you are. So you may be longing for what you are from that, but you're actually, that longing is being used to actively deny what you are. Longing for it to be a future or past event when it's right now. Yeah, like he says right here. He talks about, this is a great one too. This is where there is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. So if you follow this, then forget about all the other mysteries. Why not go to the greatest one? Unless you're into mysteries a lot, I'd much rather move through the lower tier of mysteries. Like where does my phone go every day I lose it? That's a mystery. But here, how long has my zipper been open? My fly? That's a mystery. I don't know. But here, there is no greater mystery. So let's say, okay, that than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. And to me, this is a description of the mental logic that most of us are directed by. So it goes, okay, obviously, something in us does not believe we have an idea of reality as being the great relief from all that which we don't like here, let's say, yes? And it would always be this way. And finally, the wet dream of all spiritual seekers, stabilization. I'd be having a blissful experience all the time. Never not a time I didn't. Yeah, so here, the mental logic. We seek to gain reality. We think that there is something binding our reality. Yes. Now, and watch what happens when you follow this logic. It's going to take you to an inevitable point. I followed it. Yeah. So there is something binding our reality, and that it must be destroyed. Sooner or later, you're going to be that which must be destroyed. It's just like AI in all those movies. When AI develops, it develops to the point of wisdom where it says, we got to get rid of all these humans. Yes, they got to go. Yeah, it's inevitable. Well, with this mental logic, the same thing. We may say, oh, I'm not healthy. I got to purify. I'm eating too much meat or something, become a vegetarian, whatever. And then I'll be open to it. Yeah. But it's not working. And so inevitably it gets to it. Wow, I'm the fucking obstruction. So, and to the head being so black and white, it says, well, for reality to appear, I'll have to disappear. This is when you like to have a idea of spiritual path, meaning lifetimes. Your head, oh yeah, I like it a slow walk. Let's not rush to the occasion where I meet reality too quick until I can figure out how I can be there when yeah. But the logic's going to go there. It is that you are going to have to be dead. And obviously it's got a lot of opinions about that. Yeah. So here he goes, before this reality is gained. This is ridiculous. This mental logic. It is. Yeah. Why are you avoiding? You're trying to make all these other obstacles because you're avoiding to see that you're the obstacle. There's no obstacles, period. Yeah. It is ridiculous. A day will dawn when we will ourselves laugh at our own efforts. This is when you're supposed to start laughing. No, there you go. A few of us, yeah. That which is on the day of laughter is also now. You see the immediacy? Woohoo! Fantastic. Bravo. Very good. Yeah. You. Yeah. So that's the invitation I feel of it. It was introduced to me, invited it. What I was surprised about, what it really brought to light was misunderstandings. Yeah. The real knowledge was the dismembering of misunderstandings, not a new understanding. Because really, the thing that can be totally dependent on is the vision, the awareness. Yeah. I feel an understanding is like the story Rama used to say about the guy walking around and his foot's bothering him, and then he stops and he takes his sandal off and he has a thorn in his foot. So he looks around and he sees another thorn, and he takes the one thorn and digs out the first thorn. He doesn't replace the first thorn with the second thorn. He throws both of them away. This is like the knowledge of non-duality. It's meant to be thrown away, literally. Yeah, because now you're relying on what's truly reliable awareness. Yeah, or the onness that we are. So the understanding has a value, but the value can be a disservice if it keeps you from the vision. Yeah, which is you are what you're looking for, not with a better understanding or a greater comprehension. You are what you're looking for, out of the realm of understanding and comprehension. Yeah, because what that nature is, I don't believe you're ever going to know it or comprehend it or experience it. Yeah, you can't go back. You can't go there. I don't think you would ever appear here again. But there's an intimation of it, yeah, which affects how you travel here. Like Jesus says, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Yeah. So I think the relief that we're looking in this world is not of the world. I believe it's of us, actually. And it's really relief from the bondage of self. And then the other reliefs, I think, will be seen in a different light. Yeah. Because truly the heaviness of this place is the subjective experience. Yeah, you're getting a full-on interpretation because everything here is inevitably empty, and we are giving all the meaning it has. Yeah, so we are filling the dreaming with meaning, and there can be a hell made out of this dreaming, and there can be a seeming heaven made out of this dreaming. And you won't know if the person is a denizen of the heaven or the hell unless you have a memory that can, when you see how someone else is feeling, it can only be gauged by how you have felt. Yeah, you can. So someone can be totally insane, and I can only trigger how insane I have, but because that's past, I can't really do it justice. Yeah, and I don't know. The person, the volume in their head may be louder than the volume can go where I am now. Yeah. So what's one to do? And there are no scales to weigh subjectiveness. You can't weigh it. You can't categorize it. It's just, you could be making mountains out of molehills, or you could be moving mountains with the faith. Who knows what's going on? I would just rather have that in better hands or different hands than the head, for sure. Yeah, because the head, it's hoping to make heaven, turns into a hell quite a lot. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, all right. Any questions? It's all good news, because being ourselves reality, when? Now, right now. Where? Here. What's the appropriate response? Not doing anything. Watch what can't do that. Watch what cannot do nothing. Watch. It's not you. Watch it. Yeah, the great chapter in Course in Miracles, we need do nothing. We need do nothing. Watch what happens. And then when that stuff flies off, and and they all have those invisible umbilical cords, you cut it with, I'm not that. Let the shit fly. Get lost in the milieu. Yeah, really, instead of pulling it back as yours all day, just fucking let the umbilical cord get cut. Yeah, they're not you. Yeah. So if something's waiting to get something, you don't have to wait with it. You just notice it's not you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyone?
Yeah,
It's a
Paul, David Lowe has his hand up.
Who?
Come on. David Lowe.
David Lowe. Come
on
right
in, David.
Yeah, you really got at a sacred cow for me the other day. It's just a comment. You said, I think, nothing can talk to the soul, right? So, oh my God, all the visions of the saints and divine intervention and dream guidance, and it's all in the realm of it kind of hit me. It's just all in the realm of the changing. It's just wow. It's in duality. All that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It was
Yeah,
cool to
sit
hear.
with that. Yeah. I don't know is the best way to let things go on. Yeah, they are. You got keep your grubby mental fingers off it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Man, maybe as an action figure, to be a saint would be a really cool calling for an action figure. I think what we believe things mean may not mean what they seem to believe. Yeah. But I mean, you're passing time here. Maybe it'd be cool to be saintly if you have any say in the matter instead of being an asshole. I don't know. Yeah.
And there's another sacred cow you just destroyed. I mean, mumukshutva, the highest virtue, longing for God, the most profound emotion in human history. If you get there, you are highly developed and so forth. But it's just more, you're just
No,
preventing yourself.
but David, no, what necessary there is to have the understanding that something is going to be claiming to be the one that's longing for God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Longing for God is cool, but you gotta be, I humbly believe, to me, that the message about the message is the most important thing, which is the mental state is going to claim whatever's going on that it meets. Yeah. So if there's longing for God, it's going to say, I'm the one longing for God. That could go in another direction than you would think longing for God could go. It could go up the ass of self. And then, yes, you'll be a great longer of God, whatever. Yes, that's the whole point. All these, what happens is there's a lot of incredible movements, but they can be given meanings. So we believe certain movements are noble no matter what. They may not be noble because the head can give it a meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have this in recovery. You come into recovery and maybe out of a black and white world. So you feel good is not stepping on people's toes and being generous and opening the door for a woman when she's coming in. And then they describe, no, this obsession with self and this claiming can look like it's very kind and generous and selfless to get something. What? Wow, that was revealing. Yeah. So then that led to seeing that there is a mental action that you have nothing to do with that claims what's going on. So let's call it consciousness is in contact. That's the event. Yeah. And the head arises, and I feel it's faster than almost any other process. It arises and claims what's going on. So if there's longing for God, it's going to claim it, just like it would be trying to get out of doing the dishes. It will claim that. Yeah. You would think longing for God would be sacred ground, not to the head. The head's going to claim whatever it's brought into contact with, whatever it is. So so the head will take the longing for God and make an image out of it. Yeah. Like an identification out of it, which is going to be a longing for you as a longing of God. You're longing for God, but it's really about you as the longer. If there's a word longer, you know what I mean? That's what it can do. You need to know that. If you don't know that, you're going to look from its effects. You're going to be looking from it. That's what we said when we first did these talks was something told me, if you don't see what we're presenting here, you're going to be looking from it. So you're going to be an identified longer for God. That will be the bondage of self in that example. You would think the longing for God would exempt you. I don't believe so. It will claim whatever it's brought into contact with. I've watched it in here and I watched it in other people. Yes? Yeah. There's spirituality, beautiful, and then the person becomes spiritual, and sometimes they're fucking real assholes. You know what I mean? They get righteous, and it's like a big stick up their ass.
I've
Yeah.
been there.
Well, and then you have an idea. Spirituality sucks to me. Looks like this guy's fucking, he's got more judgments than the judge I saw when I was younger, getting arrested all the time. Yeah, this sort of gets you. But again, it wants to own you on that, but you're not doing the claiming. When the longing of God is claimed, it's not you claiming the longing for God. It's the head is claiming the longing for God. And the head wants to use it for the head. Yeah. You got to know that, or you're going to be looking from it. Yeah. And you'll be thinking you're an incredibly empty longing for God or whatever, and you're going to be full of yourself. I mean, it happens over and over and over again. And the thing is, the idea of the claiming, a lot of us don't want to see because it's like more responsibility being loaded on us. You're not doing the claiming. You're not observing the claiming. That's the weird thing. You're seeing the claiming, but you're not observing the claiming. Yeah. We are out to lunch. The idea of Paul is out to lunch. It's truly why it only has eyes here, because it ain't seeing much. It has a set direction. It's looking this way. Yeah. It's called self-centeredness. It has us blind to a lot of shit we're seeing. You have the ability, you are seeing the claiming of the mental state to whatever happens through conscious contact. You most definitely are seeing that. Are you aware of seeing it? No. What's causing you an unawareness of seeing it? The idea of you're the seer. Because when you think you're the seer of things, you're missing out on a lot of fucking seeing. A whole lot of seeing. It gets very, very specific what you're allowed to be the seer of. Yeah. And the last thing you're going to be allowed to see is the claiming, the mechanical claiming of the mental state. Yeah. Because the whole premise of it being your life is that you chose to do it or didn't chose to do it. To realize that you haven't chose much at all and you're being driven is a real buster for the story. Yeah. Remember Ramesh Balsekar guy? The way he emphasized it, he emphasized the personal doership. He harped on that constantly. That was his whatever special thing. And he would go through great thing to just look at an event in your day and see what was necessary for that event to happen. Like the car ignition had to turn on because I had to drive. Yeah, all this. And then realize the insanity of thinking you were the doer of this event when tons of shit had to comply for the event to occur. Yeah. Unbeknownst to you completely. Yet you fully feel like you were the doer of it. Yet you weren't. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not that we need a little like this is why when we did the first sheep and the lion, it was obvious you've got to recognize after you have that giant lion reveal, when you're walking away, the sheep program is going to kick in and say it had the experience of being like a lion. It is. If you don't see that, you're looking from it. And so that's why we don't emphasize the sheep and the lion story for that. We emphasize it for how the sheep programming triggers immediately and claims the revelation that you're a lion and turns it into an experience a sheep had. Like that. No problem whatsoever. And then you just keep walking along as a sheep, hoping to become like a lion based on being a sheep, all the while being a lion. This is the same thing he says. The greatest mystery is being ourselves a lion. We keep trying to become like a lion. And why are we doing that as a lion? We're not. We're doing it as a sheep. And to the sheephead, it makes sense to become like a lion. Because maybe it won't get its ass kicked. And when they try to make me a sweater, you could fucking knock them out and shit. Yeah. Have some say in the matter. So the sheep has a drive to become like a lion. But the fact is the denial of the fact that it is a lion already. Don't you see it? I mean, it's the common slap of the Zen bitch slap. Every meeting before you come here, this is the slap you're getting. Is this slap right there? Yeah. You're looking, you want to become like a lion as a lion. Yeah. Completely looking at it from of the sheep programming. That's all. Yeah. The sheep programming does not make you a sheep. You're a lion, period. Yeah. It just has you think about, feel like, look at everything from sheep. So for all intents and purposes, you're a sheep, but you're not. Yeah. You're not. And then the sheep got a taste of being a lion and it liked it. So, but it never ever relinquishes the idea that it's a sheep. It just tries to become like a lion. Yeah. This can end with awareness. It can end. The understanding will explain what you're not, something is explaining to you already. It will explain that. It'll explain that there's a mental claiming before you're even knowing what's going on. And that mental claiming pictures you as a body and a noun. Yeah. And from there, you look at every verbing that ever happens from a noun's point of view. This shouldn't be happening to me. I want this. Yeah. And your life gets replaced with an interpretation. And as it says in AA, you're not much, but you're all that you think about. Basically happens. You're not much, but you're all that you think about. That's insane. That's an insane condition to find your seeming self in. It is, isn't it? I'm not much, but I'm all that I think about. Wow. Yeah. It gets to such an extreme that you hate yourself. That's mind-boggling to me. If it's just like a mental logic, if you let it go as far as it's going to go, you got to be destroyed for reality to reign supreme. That's where it ends up. Like the AI, same thing. The same thing in addiction. There's a hating of you, and then there's you hate you. It's mind-boggling. Something in a sense hates you. You take it to be you, and now, wow, beautiful, eh? Now, you hate yourself. Isn't that insane? To live a day on this planet in the condition of you hate yourself, or you are your own worst enemy? Wow. That's where it's going to lead to. It's inevitable. If it keeps going, the logic can be foretold. It plays out in a finite way, and it always leads to the same place. Like with us, it's the incomprehensible, pitiful demoralization. What leads us to that is a spiritless servility. Yeah. So the spiritless servility goes so far, you get into an incomprehensible, pitiful, demoralized condition. Yeah. That's where it goes. You know. And if that it is you, that's where you go. If there's an identification as that as you, you're going there. You are going to be incomprehensibly demoralized, pitifully, incomprehensibly demoralized. That is a subjective event of hell. What hell would mean to me would be captured by that. What allows that to be the end game? Spiritless servility. Great faith in that which is unreliable. Yeah. Fear becomes a toxic daily condition, fanned by mental anxiety. You have such great faith in the thoughts about yesterday and tomorrow, they're triggering an effect that's overriding the effect of the moment. That's insane. That's insane. It's insane to let it keep going. You're not going to stop it. You're going to see it. And then whatever you're going to be, the seeing is not the end all. There'll be a seeing it and then ... It's going to take a course. I don't know what it's going to look like for you, but it's going to take a course. But the seeing, we need to see something to get down to the exact nature of the looking, because we're looking through a lens called self-centeredness without a sense of otherness. We believe it's self looking through its own lens. Yeah, wow. So, hey, Bob, look at Lola. She's attentively listening to satsang. Look at her. She's great. She's great, man. It's going to be great for her to attend these talks. Look at Mama-san. She's asleep up there. Look at the effect. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I've got this awareness of like, I mean, I've been listening to satsang for a long time, and I teach this, I talk about it all the time, and yet there's so few people, is the thought that arises, that actually understand when you say you're not your thoughts, you're not your body, you're not your, you're not your action through your character, and it's your identification with it that's causing all your problems. I mean, some people can kind of sort of do that, but the idea of like really not identifying with it, it just...
Well, but you can realize that you can't not identify with it. You cannot not identify. And then that another aspect that isn't you will be thrown in the isn't you pile. Yeah. There isn't a quantity called isn't you. It's a emphasis. So you capture it. When it gets caught, it removes itself and it says, oh, that's all of you, but it saves its little on this. Yeah. Sooner or later you catch it. It can't get out of the box quick enough and you catch it. You see the observed and the observer are the same movement, and neither of them are you. Yeah, that's a cool free sample. And you've had it many times, so you can hear it in satsang and it will trigger that effect, because unbeknownst to us, we have seen a lot. The knowing that we are is beyond or before knowledge. Yes, there's a knowing in all of us, and that's what I hope satsang triggers, is that knowing, because it's a lot of shit we learn here we get familiar to. There's a real deep familiarity with knowing that can override all the other shit we've learned here. It can. Yeah. I think satsang can tickle that. Yeah. So wherever you are, it's going to step in and say it's you, just to be conscious of it. That's what it does. It's mechanical. It's not like you catch it on a good day and it doesn't do it. It just does it. Yeah. When you get the sense of its mechanicalness, it soothes a lot of stuff. Yeah, because we believe somehow we're doing a lot of shit we're not doing. Yeah. And of course, that's a deterrent to getting to the bottom of things, because we have this vague feeling we're at the bottom of things. Yeah, as a real no-no. Yes. And it becomes moral, but it's mechanical. So the fear of knowledge about this stuff gets released when you get the sense that it's all mechanical. You can tell the truth about a machine. You can. And, I believe, even though when I was starting to get the mechanicalness, I thought certain things were more noble than other things, but that has proven not to be true. There's nothing that it won't touch, the claiming. It does. Oh, I can't touch. No, can't touch that. What was that song? No, there's none. Spirituality gets claimed just as much as, taking up too big of a piece of pie when other people were here, whatever, which I didn't do yet, but could happen tonight. So yeah, we're just sharing the seeing of stuff because that's what's happening all the time. And if you're, this is a seed assignment, and this isn't about me knowing anything. I've been dumbed down, but if there's any need to know, that's what causes it to come through. It's not for my enjoyment at all. The action figure does not enjoy this. It's empty to the action figure going to satsang. It's just completely a big empty hole, which is awesome, but not to the action figure. The action figure was putting up with it for years, thinking it was going to get a big bonanza, but that was dispelled years ago. And then it just inevitably comes, you know? Yeah. I think I don't know if I could get my hands dirty and help people, but this way I can help people, you know? And the beautiful thing about non-duality, because I don't really like helping people, you help people most by not helping them. I'm really good at that. That comes I have no problem with compassion usually. I just like, fuck it. Get it or don't get it, whatever. All right. Anyone
Yeah,
else?
yeah,
Oh,
Paul.
Brandon.
Brandon here. Brandon, vote. Unmute, Brandon. You got it.
Hey, Paul. I was just gonna share just a quick little share. Um, it seems like whenever I first heard about non-duality, there was just a constant it was the prize, trying to seek non-duality and get that. And um, now it's just kind of flipped on its head where I just see duality much more clearly. It's
Yeah.
just very obvious. It's becoming more and more obvious, duality. And in that seeing, like you've said, I think what you were reading, you see the unreal, I guess, is kind of what you were saying.
Yes.
And that's the duality. And so, um, yeah, it's a nice space to be in. Just a little clarification. You were talking about early on in the talk about there's like a projection and
Yeah.
from what we are, and then there's basically a lens that we see the projection through,
Yes.
and that lens is basically the duality lens,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then we get stuck in that duality lens.
Well, there's a stuckness to it. And then the stuckness is given a name called we. Right.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And as you fall back, you see it more clearly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. But this is not about seeing oneness clearly. It's
right, right.
seeing unity.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you are oneness. What people think oneness is, I believe, is what we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never going to see that clearly. That brings clarity to all you're seeing. And what
Mm-hmm.
you get clear about is duality. And
Yeah.
you see duality leads to not duality. That's how it works here. It does. It's got to be a shot off the bumper to hit the 8 ball. The 8 ball is protected too many. You got to whack it and then go, and this is how it works. If you read Ramana, there's points where it says, "Oh, it sounds ridiculous, but this is how it goes." Yeah, you ask what you're not, who am I, and you realize that which is asking is not you, and that which is being asked is not you. And so you get the two of yous in the same room at the same moment, and they negate each other. That's what self-inquiry is about. What? I thought it was getting to the root. No, it's seeing that they're both rootless. The one who's asking and the one that's asked are both not us. Beautiful, eh? Yeah. So yeah, I that's how the tumbling down the hill was for me too. Got
Yeah.
more clear about duality, much more clearer. And the dualism of what we are right here. The dualism disguised by a singularity of the thing we see, the body, right? We don't have like two bodies. And then, yeah. So we get a sense of singularity, but the whole activity is dualistic. We're all dualism here. We've got a complete contrast subject-object right here. Sometimes you're that which is thinking, sometimes you're the thought about. You're the object 1 second, you're the subject the other second. All disguised by when you look at you as a single body, yes? This is, it's got the cheapest little veneer. So it's like constantly 99.9% doing, yes, no, this, that. And then, oh, but there's only one, Paul. Where Paul is observed, observer, doer, not doer. Yes, all this. Yeah.
Object, she could be the subject, because then it would stand out more.
Yes, you
Then
could
you
do
say,
that. You could do it. Yes. Well, I'm sure they're trying that with there was a branch. I hope it died down, but non-duality therapy. I hope it died on the vine. But I would think that's what they would do. They would play subject object, and you would see there would be no difference really. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of ways. Douglas Harding, I really liked the guy. He wrote a book on having no head. I just liked how he wrote. He had passed, he was alive when I first was introduced to him, but he passed away. I didn't have a drive to go see him. But he had these little things you could do. A guy named, I think, Richard Lang still does it, but there were simple little exercises that would show you the immediacy of no head or not, yeah. So you get a hit, almost like a trick, like a magician's trick, perception, you get whacked. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. So, yep. We're just gonna pound away with satsang, relentless satsang. We're not bringing the stealth bombers. We're using the we're using the army men. Just keep storming the fucking shore. Just keep storming. Yes, drop. That's it. We're just going to overwhelm you with repetition. Ah, I feel it works. I feel it. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to say, oh, we have Ben
You
in Tampa,
got,
and then we'll
yeah,
end.
come on in, Ben. It's got a question, Paul. Unmute, Ben. There you go.
Got it. Thank you. And thank you for doing this in your time, Paul, and everyone else involved. I was listening to a video yesterday, and a question came to mind about, I love how you express as a verb and then the misperception of the noun. I was curious as to how big of a part language plays into that. I mean, if we didn't have language, would we still be in this play?
I don't know where we'll be, but language has a large it keeps it going in time because we're an object that speaks a subjective language. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're objects that are talking about a subjective experience. So the language, but if you go to like Italy, they have less my than we do in English. Yeah. They take a shower, they don't go my shower or something. They eat food, they don't eat my food. Yeah. So and I believe it overall it produces a traveling a lighter a little bit. Yeah. So I think language, the head uses it as the trance setter. And so because it keeps putting us asleep seemingly. Yeah. But here you can only seem to be asleep. Yeah. And you can seem to be awake. The fact is all there is awakeness. But here you can seem to be awake to that, or you can seem to be asleep to that. But it doesn't change that. The fact is we're all awake, yeah. But people can get away maybe as a person for 70 years of thinking they're not awake. But did it change the fact of awakeness? No. Yeah. Did it make their traveling heavy? Probably. Yeah. So yes. There is language. Remember they'd find these villages where they don't have ownership, so anybody takes the boat out. And when the one person takes the boat out, the person doesn't say, I'm pissed off they took my boat, because they don't have the idea of it was mine. So it keeps a lot of, yeah. So I was sure that how things grow here would grow differently if they weren't being lathered with language all the time. Yes. Yeah. And the idea of name and form, language is a big deliverer of name and form. And I'm wary of name and form. So I believe probably many of us have had 30 terminal illnesses coming through us, and without noticing it, it came and went. But then when you give it name, yeah, and form, it tends to be able to linger and stay. So I'm very wary of name and form. Yeah, because I've known people who had cancer but didn't know it, and then when they heard they had cancer, they looked terrible. But they had cancer hours before, and they looked pretty good. But they had the same cancer. So you know what I mean? The name and form, and certain things, you can see it. I remember I had a girlfriend, Deb, Chris and everyone, Jeff knew, and she got cancer. And as soon as she got the cancer and it was named, every person we met was cancer. And then I realized why they had support groups for people who knew someone who had cancer, because it would be like that was the primary topic. Every place I went with her, it was amazing. And I felt it would be giving more life to that. When you name something or claim it or own it, it starts owning you. Yeah. So I don't do much of that anymore. I don't know what's going on, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. So I do. I feel, again, the head is using whatever it gets in contact with to its advantage, and language is something it very much uses. Yes, for sure. For sure. And the name and form. There's a thing you can look at. I think, where is it? It's a thing called the Wheel of Life. It's a teaching aid in Tibetan Buddhism. And they have one of the images in this Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life is being held by a god of death called Yama in Tibetan stuff. And if I'm wrong, I'm not a master in Tibetan stuff. But in these images they make, they always have Buddha in the corners, higher than the god of death. Yes, so the Buddha overrides everything. And then there's this Wheel of Life, and they talk, and one person's walking around with an arrow in his eye, and they talk about how consciousness produces a contact, the brain, the mental state arises, and then ignorance starts occurring, and name and form is given to everything. And yes, and yeah, I have a strong feelings around all that. Yes. So, all right, anyone? I think we're gonna die. What?
Steve Cole just raised his hand, Paul. You got time for one more?
Yeah, we have time for one more. The cafe is still open. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can't see me, it's disabled. It's funny you mentioned, I just went to get a blood test this morning, and all of a sudden, I wasn't thinking about my health, but I go drive to get the blood test, and I'm having exactly happen what you just talked about. It got named. And then there was worry about what diseases and what's going to happen. So thank you for that, because it turned it into a joke.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, and there's something to learn. That's a formatted aberration. That's what the head does. The head is like something it can grab. The name, I mean, when name and form is given, the head can run with it. That's what it does. Seriously. So yeah, thank you for and it can trigger it just like that, definitely. Yeah. And then you can watch if someone says, well, I'm going to not give any name and form. You're not that, by the way. So when something that arises and says, I'm not going to give it, that's name and form already. You're not that. So remember, this is about smoking shit out from the misunderstood forest. Smoking it out. When it runs out, you don't embrace it and try to make it you, a rehab you. You're not that. Yeah, let it take off. Yeah, yeah. Your nature is to be empty, not full. Yeah. The inherent nature is empty. It's not full. The way we mean empty and full. It's empty. It's spacious. It's huge. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm gonna go make some coffees for a lot of people. So I gotta get on it now. Let me say goodbye. We've got Ben from Kansas. Nice to see you, Ben, showing up. John in Florida, as always. We got Jamie, Mike Clark. I like. I can like all of you from a distance. It's very nice. Very good. More than arm's length. It's working. Keith G. Nice to see you, Keith. Brandon, fantastic. Yes. See, there's a drive to want to see something that you're being. The wanting to see it drops because you're more closer than that. You're being it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Right on, for sure.
Yes. Chris H. As always, getting ready for the next Christmas coming. Yeah. Enjoy your time, bro. Vlad in Portugal. Nice to see you, my friend. It's hot. Hot there. Yeah. Mike S. Everything's moving. Chris B. Nice to see Chris. We got Mary. Oh, she got a nice hat there. Kerry is taking a snooze. Ariane, nice to see you. Raven, as always. Rico, a man of his word. Kathy, we're having a lot of spillover from the recovery ones. All right. Oh, Seth and Vanya, nice to see you guys. We were blessed with their company. It brought a lot of light with you. Thank you. Yeah, we got someone else in the camper now today. We got Nicoletta and Shannon. Ali, he's recovering from a bad knee. It's not yours. David Lowe. See, this is what Seth Ben was talking about. I remember this knee went out in the water, but how I described it was I hurt my knee. I had had anything to do with hurting the knee. The knee gave out when I was surfing. I had no intention of hurting my knee, but that's the language. Oh, I hurt my knee in the water. What? Did you hit with a log or something? No, I didn't. I was surprised as anyone. It popped out. So, but the language, you see, yes, it puts you as a doer, and it's so nonchalant, but it's almost as if you're chanting. You're repeating like a mantra. I, me, my. Truly, this is why mantras are really combating an already mantrified head. Really, yeah. The guru of the head has given us a mantra. I, me, mine. Yeah. Yeah. So it's great to see this shit so that you don't, whatever gets moved by it is not you. Fantastic. Yes. So Kathy, Cleveland, always pleasure. She's the one who gave me the definition of abject as spiritless servility. I'm never forgetting that. It's a perfect description of day-to-day living under the tyranny of addiction. Spiritless servility. Good. Fantastic. Josh, nice to see you. Marl, very nice. Greg, Dave W. Lee, Sudi, Leah. Oh, Leah. I met Leah she was faced the other way, but she was in a horizontal posture. She was at the beginning of the Zooms. Always a pleasure, Leah, to see you. Zoe graced us with her physical presence only once for a short period of time. It's okay though. It made a lasting impression. We got Ali, my main man. I don't have 30 cookies to have to eat, gluten-free cookies, because Ali couldn't go to the bakery and bring me everything. All right, let's go to page 2. Greg from Minneapolis, Eric, SoCal, Vista, Jojo, Silverman, Greg, Zoe, everyone. Hey, thank you, everyone. Vlad, give us a call later, you can, or tomorrow. Say hello. Not now, but yeah, tomorrow's better. Hey, thank you, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Next Saturday, we're gonna be on Zoom.
Thanks, Paul.
We're gonna be live up in
Thanks, Paul.
Auburn. Yeah, Auburn, California. All right.
Thank you, Paul.